Alright, so many moments later after trading and acquiring some newer items here, which we'll go ahead and show off, one of the items I do want to go ahead and max out on its quality, because I also want to go ahead and show you guys the mechanic of the Jeweler's Orb. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get it to max quality, and we're going to go ahead and do that by getting these Armorer's Scrap. When I purchased it, it was already at 18% quality. I'm going to go ahead and actually max this to 20. 20 is going to be perfect. It also gives us extra armor and evasion, but we basically want to go ahead and max it out so it'll give a higher chance of not only getting certain colors, but it also can help out with getting a higher chance to get what's called perfect, which is going to be 4. And I'm going to go, oh, we already maxed it out. Now it has perfect sockets. Now the next thing to do after it has perfect sockets is to actually link them. I honestly don't really need these colors, so I'm going to go ahead and I actually kind of want them to have at least 2 green. Okay, there we go. That's all I wanted. And then with the fusings, honestly, I'm totally fine with whatever we get with the fusings, because I can go ahead and throw in other things in these that I don't need to have actually linked. Well, I don't even need Herald of Agony, to be honest. But I actually just wanted Blink Arrow to have faster attacks. So go ahead, and I think I put that in my stash before. Yeah, I did put the faster attacks over here. So I'm going to put the Blink Arrow with the faster attacks linked over here, and this can go wherever, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to go ahead and have that because I want to do cast when damage taken and implement that with something else, which we'll get into later on. But I do want to go ahead and go over some of the items that I did acquire. A lot of these were very cheap. As you guys know, we got an Exile Orb. Unfortunately, they don't sell for very much at the very beginning of the league, but later down the line, they actually are more valuable. We actually only got 48 with it, but a lot of stuff that we purchased was relatively cheap, minus this. This was 5 Chaos, I think. Again, keep in mind, you don't have to get these items. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what we did while I was basically trading, because I said, we got that Exalted Orb, let's go ahead and trade for some currency. So a lot of these you can buy for like anywhere from like 1 Chaos to an Alk. A lot of these items like Prison Weave, this was an Alk, this was an Alk, they died belt, and then this was also an Orb of Alchemy. So I was just on the trade website, and I basically just sat there for, I don't know, almost half an hour trying to get certain items. This item's a little bit more pricey. Again, you don't have to have these items, but I just want to update you guys on them. So I wanted to try to test this out, because this is these are boots that literally jumped up 10 times in price, I would say, a little more than that. So every time I attack with a bow, it's going to trigger a level 5 rain of arrows, and I just wanted to go ahead and showcase that off. And we also get some extra damage on it, but it also adds strength. And then other than that, yeah, Prison Weave is new, the Loaction Chorus, and what it allows us to do is it gives us extra attack speed, but in addition to that, it gives us a 10% chance to gain a Power, Frenzy, or Endurance charge on kill. Power charge is going to give us crit chance, and then Frenzy is going to give us attack speed and movement speed, and then Endurance is going to give us physical damage reduction. And then we also happen to have Deed Bow, which is going to give us extra damage, but it also gives us extra stats. And it gives us extra melee damage, but that's honestly not why we're using it. It just gives us some armor, and it was only 1 alch, and I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up. But there's nothing else that's really important to mention like in our build, other than this will have arrows coming down, so it's going to look kind of cool. I just kind of want to try it out.
You will be remembered.
So as soon as we just got into Act 4, we're going to go ahead and just talk to some of the people over here, and the first quest over here is going to be, oops, we're going to talk to Dahlia. And we're going to, oh, I don't know why there's an exclamation mark on the mini-map over here if we can't enter this area. We're going to go ahead and go towards the top, and there'll be some people to talk to. And this is where I want to
die. Go away, you.
We can talk to Tsuni over here.
Of course.
And pretty soon we'll be getting a Golem pet, which will be a nice little addition. We can have him roll a lot of different things. Oh, it's just a volley. So we're going to go ahead and find the banner in the Dried Lake, which is just located below. It's a pretty easy quest. There's a lot of like areas, whoops, for enemies to spawn here. So we'll definitely fight some of those bosses. But you can see with those extra arrows, it's kind of nice. I just wanted to try it out. I don't know if it's actually like really good, but it jumped up in price a lot, so I'm wondering why. Maybe there's another reason other than it does give you some extra damage too, and like the level requirement is quite nice, especially since it adds all that strength. So we'll be able to clear content very fast now. And then we also have the amulet gives us extra crit chance, but it reduces our crit damage. But it's honestly, again, just for the knockback. I'm wondering if the knockback can actually work from the rain of arrows too. Oh, you know what I should have done actually? We should have bought a bunch of Quicksilver flasks. You know, we can do that later in this video too. But yeah, we're gonna be clearing content so much faster after all these upgrades. You see over here at the buff that this gives us increased attack speed and cast speed. I guess it doesn't give you movement speed. That will be with Onslaught, which we actually got a gem. I mentioned that gem before, but we don't have the level requirement. It's gonna be like 40 something to be able to use that. One over here, so we should be able to craft one of those monsters. 4 link, that's nice. Oh, that even works with blink arrow. Hey, yo, that's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that. But like all those arrows, dude, it's quite nice, to be honest. Oh my gosh, he hits hard. We almost died in like one hit.
This land won't miss your kind fall.
That's where we're bleeding right now. When you bleed in Path of Exile, one tip is don't move. You will take more damage. There's a few things that can modify that, but for the most part, yeah, you don't want to move. Also, I really like the audio in the dried leg. It's really good. Can we craft one of these now? I want to craft a boss. Ooh, we can. All right, we have a unique. Ooh, we have doubles. Okay, this might be a pretty hard one though. I say that as I absolutely obliterate him. Oh. Okay, we're good. We got kind of low over there. Nice, we got a blessed orb. We'll show off some of those other items later down the line when we actually need to roll certain things. I forgot I had this. Oh, we didn't even have these up. Oh my gosh, didn't even have my buffs up. You always remember to activate your buffs. Obviously, that was something that I totally forgot about. But it's okay. We still melted everything, and right now I'm trying to put points into this extra evasion, but also giving me that 20% cooldown recovery of movement skills. Which this is going. If you mouse over the skill, wherever my dash is at, let me go with that. So you see that it's spell, movement, travel, and blink. So it'll tell you exactly what type of skill it is. It's very descriptive. And since we already got the banner, as always, just go ahead and utilize that smart game mechanic. Go right back into town. If you logging out, and you can click on that, it's going to go ahead and open up the mines. And well. I don't know if we have to talk to this guy. This is Nico.
Say that.
He allows us to go into the mines, and it's like a new gameplay mechanic, which I'll showcase off one of them in here. So.
Good find,
I forgot how much sulfite you actually need. Okay, let's see.
Welcome, Exile.
So go ahead and load in the area. So you're gonna go ahead and enter the mine, and this, I don't know if we have to like, is there a way to like view? Okay, so how it works is you'll start off at depth 1, you'll start going to deeper depths. The deeper that you go, you'll see that the monster level goes higher, but the rewards are usually going to be better as you progress. And you'll click on these little things called sulfites, and then you'll see this bar over here. This is your sulfite bar. And that goes up. You don't have to do it all at once, but I recommend just to be time efficient, get a bunch of sulfite and then do it all at once versus getting one stack of sulfite, going in and then going back out. It's just much better to be more efficient here. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of show off the gameplay mechanic here. So there's this little cart, and you have to follow the cart. if you go away from the cart, you start taking damage. I'll show you guys how it works. I don't know how generous they are in the very beginning, but... And if you're in front of the cart will move faster, so it's kind of cool. And there's also walls that you can actually explode, and they'll have loot. There's also these torches that you can throw down for the light. But basically, when you get into the dark, you'll see that you'll start taking damage. You'll see my HP was going down over there. But in the very beginning, it's very easy. You can also increase your light radius and the light that the cart gives off, and also your resistance to certain things. But sometimes you kind of got to be fast, because if you don't, the cart will go away and you won't be able to pick up the item, or you'll die for it. Which in softcore is not that big of a deal. But in hardcore, I mean, that's it. So we're going to click on this once the cart has stopped moving, and it'll basically be like waves of enemies that kind of come out at you. So yeah, like pushing the payload exactly in Overwatch. A bunch of items will be dropping. Fortunately, there wasn't anything too good off of it, but still getting all of those scrolls, that's kind of nice. And there's also a Zerite. If you just walk over, it'll pick it up. Those are kind of like another form of currency to upgrade yourself. So I'm going to go back to the encampment, and I'll kind of basically explain more of the mines here. So what we can do is we can go into the area, and we can actually, let me go ahead and just move to the no cam mode so you guys can actually see it, because it's blocking it completely. So you can increase the sulfite capacity. You can also craft and make these flares. You can also craft dynamite. This is to actually explode walls that are weak. We'll get more into this a little bit later down the line, but I just want to show a brief little overview of the mine mechanic. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and exit and go right back to where you were before. And that is indeed the mine mechanic. So let's go ahead and continue on. I don't know if I like the lion's eyes boots, honestly. It's very like cluttery as far as like what's going on the screen, you know? And this is just how you access it. You just click on the little sulfite. You're supposed to kill that guy, so go and craft more of those like monsters. I actually really like the mechanic, and I think later down the line it'll be a lot more worth it. The mines are definitely worth it. There's people that basically just play the mines for the most part in the game. A lot of people really enjoy it. It is pretty cool. Certain builds cannot be played in mines though, just as a heads up. Like, you can't really play Flicker Strike. I learned the hard way, because you can't control where your character goes with Flicker Strike, and you'll just teleport across the map and you'll just die because of the darkness. I think that was one of the best leagues. I think that one, I really like Legion the most. That was definitely one of my favorites. So we're going to go ahead and, this one's going to give us evasion, and I want the extra cooldown recovery, so then we'll have 30% cooldown reduction on this. And then blink arrow, since I have it, it's also tied to movement, sweet. And you can actually get 100% reduction on it too, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get that. Might get it early on to test out. I just really enjoy being able to dash around. And once we get Tailwind, oh, it's going to be great. Which you guys will see later down the line. I was actually thinking about getting a Quill Rain bow. Oh, I didn't mention this. So with the Death's Harp, which is a bow that's going to have extra damage from our previous bow, we actually get a bow that fires an additional arrow, which really helps out. There's a passive that we'll be getting. We should probably also ascend because we're 38, but it's okay. We'll go ahead and do that on the next episode. That's kind of a mechanic that I really kind of want to dedicate one video specifically to. Well, hello there, 23. How you doing, man? We can go a lot faster. You know what we'll do for the next episode? I'll also trade and get 4 Quicksilver Flasks so we can make this content way faster. Although for the lab, I'll probably end up not doing that. I'll probably just have 2. But for that boss fight, you want to have a lot of physical resistance, because that's what he does as far as damage goes. I remember a few times when we did the lab, we had on Abyssius, which is like a really bad idea. This is an excavated hideout. You can attain this hideout, which is where you can kind of go back. It's like your own custom area. You just clear it out the area, and you'll unlock it. And I just unlocked because I didn't care to unlock this one.
Journey well.
But we should probably start stacking knife pretty soon because we're coming up to a lot of content. Ooh, nice! We got an orb of fusing. Whoops, did not grab that one. Grab the brain. Tornado shot is still really good. I don't know about that nerf. Do I still have ice shot over here? Where did I put it? Hold on, let me get rid of this. I want to kind of go back and forth to kind of test out which was like still what I enjoy. I really think I enjoy Tornado Shot so much more, but I'll mix up the content here because originally this was going to be an Ice Shot build, but like after using Tornado Shot after the nerf, like this is still pretty good. Maybe I'll just mix it in with Barrage or something, or maybe do like a Explosive Arrow or something. Both of them clear content out really fast. I actually don't know which one is going to be faster. And then now we're going to go ahead and actually come to 2 different bosses over here, which is really cool.
Don't die, please.
I think Kaom's is cooler, so we'll do this one first. Otherwise, like it's not as exciting. At least that's how I feel. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Tornado Shot. I'm actually curious to check out just via the damage sheet how much more damage we're getting out of the Tornado Shot. So it's 4K right now, and if we swap to Ice Shot, we're getting 8K. I don't know, Tornado Shot hits so many times, so like it's so much worth it. I also just like that you can hit things like behind you, and like you really don't even need to aim with Tornado Shot. That's the thing, like you hit so many enemies that you don't even see. How do I shoot random arrows when shooting? Oh, so we're actually using Lionized Pause to answer your question over here. This is actually like went over 10 times. I'd almost say it's like 40 times the price because it used to be like what, like an ALC, if that, like an alteration. Like no one cared about these, but they just skyrocketed in price. And I'm like, well, I got an Exalted Orb, and I just want to test out like if are they actually like OP or I don't know. I feel like I was one-shotting things anyways. Ooh, we got an Orb of Fusing. But it's kind of nice. I mean, it's extra DPS at the end of the day, right? I forget to summon my Shrapnel. I guess, like, we don't really need to summon the Ballistas unless there's a boss. I feel like that's the effective way to really utilize them. Yeah, Tornado Shot. Look at this. I can hit this thing, like, over here. Look at this, like, it hits everywhere. Tornado Shot is just too good not to play. Unless they nerf the damage, like, significantly. I don't see people straying away from it. It's just still, like, it was supposed to be, this build was originally Ice Shot, but it's now Tornado Shot. And now we got this, which is a 20% cooldown, and now we're going to get 10% increased attack and cast speed if we use a movement speed. I'm not sure if totems are considered a cast. All I know is I know once we get Tailwind, that will count, and that will give us extra totem play speed. Honestly, can't tell. Another four link. Oh, I forgot. We should collect these. Oh, cool. We have enough to summon the boss. Double uniques. Nice. All right. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if we should get another one of these. Oh my gosh, it melted so fast. Dude, I just pulled the David Copperfield, dude, and made it disappear. Alright, now I feel like we're in that, like, PoE. I'm going fast, Sonic. Sonic speeds now. Except for that enemy kind of survived a little bit too long. I like this build, though. So much more than Ice Shot. Well, Ice Shot might be better if we do, like, maybe maps. Wait, we should level up Ice Shot. What are we doing? Throw Ice Shot in here. Alright, we'll still level it up. Because I might want to endgame Ice Shot. Which, at some point, I'll probably just buy a quality gem, but, you know, whatever. Our damage is going to go up so much more once we have that Deadeye Ascendancy. We got 21 minutes for this video. Okay, we can do both today. I'll finish up that because we'll get Tailwind, which it's one of the nicest things in the game. It just increases your action speed, which is like literally any type of movement, cast speed, movement speed, placement of the totems. Which honestly, I really like the placement of the totems. It's super fast, but like most of the time I'm doing it before the enemy has a chance to come out anyways, so. Well, so in this area over here, the Grand Arena, what we have to do is kill a bunch of monsters, and then eventually there will be this gate over here that should open up. Well, now it opens up. Random arrows are kind of just cool at this point, to be honest. But it also gives us a lot of strength, which is nice for requirements on a bunch of the items. Like our Deed Beld, Died or Deed Beld, whatever it's called, the helmet. What am I missing? Lungs heart. Okay. Gonna find a boss now. Let's do it.
Look at this guy.
What do we get? Oh, oops. That's our first death, Kappa. That's what I get for like looking at the item. It's okay though, because we're not playing hardcore, so there's really no penalty. Oh, so since this is our first death in our like actual playthrough, one thing I didn't get to mention is that you will have to recast your buffs when you actually die. So let's go and check out what the unique is. Blood Boil over here. So it's going to give us some extra damage to attacks. I don't think it's like that bad. Let's see, what does it give us? So in terms of stats wise, let's see if it increases our damage by a little bit. It does, by 200. We lose out on the fire resistance on, let's see, this gives us extra cold resistance, like whatever. In terms of life though, let's see. It gives us extra life, extra damage. I mean, as far as the elemental change, we can check out our defenses on elemental resistances. We're actually pretty low on fire and lightning resistances. We'll actually pump that up later down the line. Not too worried about it right now.
Is your passion enough to claim a king of swords is nothing if he cannot defend his crown.
But yeah, I feel like that death over there, I shouldn't have looked at the item. So this guy over here, he'll summon these swords. You gotta watch out when he like makes a bunch of clones of himself. But yeah, there's a bunch of swords on the ground. Just don't stand in them, and you'll be fine. And don't attack them while this is going off. Let me go ahead and get that
The only
item.
love you had, Doreso, was for yourself.
Okay, and then you can also do the same trick, which is like exiting the game and reloading out. But now we fight a much cooler boss. So we're gonna go ahead and teleport right back to the Crystal Fates. And then you'll get these two different items. One is the Eye of Desire, and the other one, I don't remember the name, but you will see it very soon. But if you give it to her, you don't have to hold it. Otherwise, it'll be stuck in your inventory.
This isn't the Karui that I know.
And when we had that ruby flask, what's our fire resistance? Our fire resistance is 41%. Okay. Let's find another one of these bosses over here. Grab this too. We got this, which is going to give us increased life area effect. Some of these areas will be very narrow. Like, it's kind of hard to see on the mini-map exactly where to go. So make sure you check every single corner if you happen to play on this. Let's see, what did we get? I heard a sound. Oh, it's a 4 links. I don't know which parts we're missing. But 23, how do you enjoy this league so far? I think it's okay. I just wish it was more streamlined, a little bit of quality of life. Things were a little bit faster in terms of like picking it up. And I don't like how you can pick up all but one organ in one area. Skill point to put in. I'll actually probably put it into life at this point. Like I mentioned, I usually like to go all in, but there's a point where like you don't need to have more damage, and it just becomes kind of pointless because you're gonna die in one hit. I don't want to die in one hit. I actually like how his voice sounds, so I'm gonna keep it rolling.
I allowed not one of my 500 to fall. The blood of the ancestors surged in our veins, and each and every one of my warriors earned Tukohama's mark upon their skin. We descended into the heart of Reikla, and there he came to me, Tukohama. He asked of me a sacrifice. I gave it willingly. My axe fell 500 times. The jade drinking of the Eternals opened.
Whoops, I didn't mean to open up that one. But anyways, you got to hear his voice. I just really like his like voice. This is Einhar. Where the heck did Einhar? When did Einhar come out? What? I didn't see him at all, but I guess he's over here. I forgot we still upgrading that Herald of Agony. We're not even using it. That's fine though. Alright, so at this point, like I said, unless there's an extra, nah, I don't really care about that. So let's just go ahead and start speccing into like life where, so eventually, since I mentioned, if you guys were following me from the very beginning, I mentioned you guys should path this way. What I actually plan to do is I'm going to be pathing this way, and I'll be removing these. It just saves you guys the time of like kind of wasting, I guess, the points. But I really just like to do it in the very beginning because I feel like when you attack really slow in the game is just less I guess, fun. So that's why I go ahead and do that. And we're probably going to go ahead and actually grab That would be next. What does it give us? It's 10%. It's what, 444? This is 5. We'll go ahead and grab these real quick because this will give us an extra 10%. It'll be big. Big extra life. But I'll also, like I said, get that evasion and life in the very beginning, and then we'll roll off the other one. Because there comes to a point where I'm going to get more attack speed in other places that will give better results. It's just in the very beginning of the game, I hate attacking slow. That was pretty much a dead end. I love that cooldown on that dash though. So nice. Like this character is very like active in what you're going to be doing, and I want to still try to keep myself to have like maybe about 4k HP, just a little bit lower, maybe 3.5. So like I can at least survive one hit, but I want it difficult enough to where it's still a little bit scary going into like fights. If that makes sense. But since they have scaled the game for the endgame content, I'm actually not sure. Can I still 4-link? I've been getting a lot of 4-links. I've noticed that. At this point, I might actually change my loot filter to be a little bit more strict on it, so it doesn't show like those anymore. At this point, like 4-link was a lot of damage.
Up you go, little beast! Away! Up you go, little beast! Away!
Alright, we're gonna probably end up fighting a boss over here. And we're gonna be fighting one. Okay, nice. I'm gonna throw up a portal here just in case we rip, because I do not want to reset. Oh, this guy's fast. He's morphed. We got something.
Sounds good. Does it work?
Yeah, it's that silver coin, man. Alright. I feel like that audio file is a little bit long. I'm probably gonna end up like moving that to like a shorter one. Alright, so let's go and put on another skill point into some extra life here. So you'll see with just 5% life, we go from 780 to 817. You actually get a lot. But you'll have to have a lot of life, and then the more life you have, obviously the more percentage you put in, it's going to give better results. Oh, ooh, he hits hard. So you gotta watch out when he does his leap attack. He definitely hits a lot harder than he did before. I mean, this is whatever as far as what the stats that rolled on it. Life recovery to minions. I'm not sure if I actually need that one. Let's go ahead and re-roll this. So this is the orbital alteration. I haven't really shown you guys this. So what it does is it makes it so the magic item will get completely new things. So now it makes it so it recharges 5 charges when you take a critical strike, and it gives us immunity to ignite, and it removes burning on use. And since this one is just 1200 versus 1000, it's going to actually just give us more life, I guess, faster, even though like we don't even have that amount. It recovers X amount, like it'll say recovers this amount in whatever seconds, right? So this one recovers 1000 in 7 seconds. This one recovers 1200, so it's faster, and it recovers more, so it's like double benefit. And since I'm probably just going to go ahead and go to the merchant here pretty soon. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to the Dahlia over here, and we're gonna go ahead and give her the last extra piece. Well, I guess
my little rapture.
It went out of inventory, but it's like looks exactly the same, but it's like red. And now we're gonna go ahead and enter Belly of the Beast. But I mentioned that we should do the Ascendancy thing, and I wanted to do that before we go ahead and enter here. But I felt like for the video sake purpose, I just wanted to go ahead and hop in and show you guys these two like boss fights over here, because they're really cool. I really like Kaoms, especially when you're like under, I guess, geared. Since I have a lot of damage, he's usually a little bit longer of a fight, but he definitely hits a lot harder with the newest update in 3.9. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this part. I'll catch you guys in the next one very soon. But thanks for watching, and peace.